So this is going to be a hard video for me to make, but I think it's really important because I learned a lot of things that I didn't know, and even after having 5 kids. So I want to share you my experience, and hopefully I don't lose it through it. But so Monday, my 6-year-old had a low-grade fever all day, and it was like 100.2, and she was drinking fine, she was eating fine, she was just laying around here and there, so I knew, she had something. And she at one point even got up and played for half an hour and then lay around, and she'd take a nap throughout the day, like 15 minutes here and there. And so, we just, as you can see, we set up blankets on the couch and on the floor just in case, they throw up, because we didn't know what she had, but we knew she had something. So about 8 o'clock at night, she wanted to go into her bedroom on her bed and watch a little TV and rest, and she wanted someone to lay with her, so my husband's like, sure, so they go lay down, and of course she falls asleep, so my husband's like, well, can give him a little opportunity to do some work on the laptop. And so she fell asleep for like 15-20 minutes max. So he went and grabbed the thermometer, and he does that when they're sleeping just to kind of keep an eye on the temperature. And at that point it had gotten to 102, which still, like, I'm not like, oh, alarm. It's not like it was 104, 105. So 102, and she had a blanket on, and she was just sleeping on the pillow. So, he came out and told me she has 102 fever, and I said, okay, well, when she wakes up, we'll let her get up, give her some water, and then we'll check her again, and then we'll give her medicine. Didn't quite go that way. She got up, and it looked like she was looking through us. And, we called her name. She didn't respond. And listen, our kids, especially this one, when she wakes up, she's a little out of it anyways. So at first we were just like, okay, wake up. Like, don't play around, because she'll joke around too. We're like, don't play around. You need to respond to us and answer. And we called her by her name. Nothing. We kind of we shook her leg and her arm. Nothing. She didn't even blink. And we looked at each other and we're like, something's wrong. So we went and called 911. He went ahead, he picked her up, and we brought her into the living room, placed her on the floor, and she was still not responding. Her tongue was thrashing, but not outside her mouth. It was more like that. But she literally had this stare. But it's like she wasn't even comprehending nothing. And she was moving her hands, just her hands up and down her, like, upper thigh area, stomach area, like just around that area. And then we were on the phone, obviously, with 911, and she started to turn pale, and her lips were turning gray. And my oldest came walking in, and she freaked out and turned around, and she told me afterwards, she said, Mom, I thought she was dead, because that's what she looked like. And so we told the guy, he's like, is she breathing? And I swear I could feel her heartbeat, but her chest wasn't rising, and she wasn't, we could couldn't hear anything come out of her mouth. So my husband began to do CPR on her. And I think that is when I lost it. And I was like, God help us. Oh God, help us. Please help us. Get them here quick. Get the ambulance here quick. So then I heard sirens from a distance. And I told my husband, I'm running out and I'm going to run them down. And I ran out and I hear it getting a little bit closer. And it seemed like forever. And I know it wasn't. I mean, and I was running out the street and I was crying out, God, help her. Don't let her die. Please. Don't let her die. And I could see the lights coming. And I waved them down. And literally there was 2 ambulances. There was an EMT. And there was a fire chief. One of the neighbors said they saw 2 fire chief vehicles. I only recall one, so I don't know. And a cop car. And they come jumping out. And my first reaction was, please help. But she is anaphylactic to eggs, peanuts, and Benadryl. Now, I know they're not giving them Benadryl. I know they're not going to have eggs or peanuts. But it's an allergy, Mom. It's like, you know, it's like, come help her. But these are her. I just didn't know. And the guys were so great. I mean, we had probably 10 guys in our living room. And when I came in, I could see her chest moving up and down. She was breathing. And they said that it looks like she had a febrile seizure, which is when your temperature goes up, kids get seizures from babies to 6 years old. And I've heard of that. I've heard of those. But I've also heard that's when it's 104, 105. When it starts going up that high, that's when that can happen. Not at 102. And you know what I found out? It can happen at 99 degrees. That's what the paramedics told me. That's what the EMT told me. And that's what the pediatric doctor told me. The pediatric emergency room doctor. I had no idea it could happen with a low-grade fever. And that's why I'm sharing my story. So, and I'm also sharing it because I have seen somebody with seizures. And it was nothing like that. Nothing. They are moving their hands around, they're shaking, they're, throwing up. None of that happened. She was limp. And she was just barely moving her hands and her tongue. And then she clenched down on her. I'm glad she didn't bite her tongue. Like, just all the stuff. So, of course, paramedics took her to a children's hospital, and they did blood work on her. They did a nasal swab on her, and I haven't slept in 2 nights. I slept with her, and if you look on my page, you'll see a video of her chest moving up and down. And that was the most beautiful sight I have ever seen. And I'm so glad she's here. And I know not everybody has had that outcome. And I asked the pediatric ER doctor, if this happens again, because she said it could happen, what do we do? And she said, you did everything you could do. And that's scary. Because, yeah, we gave her CPR and stuff. But what if my husband wasn't right there? She made no sounds. She was not wailing. Nothing. It is by the grace of God my husband sat on that bed and did work. Because we were there. And I know when our kids are sick, we're constantly checking on them. And anytime our kids are sick, they are out in the living room all day because there's somebody always out in the living room. But I will tell you, that was the scariest thing. I thought she was gonna die. This is the same child we almost lost 3.5 years ago to her anaphylactic because we didn't know she had allergies to eggs, peanuts, and Benadryl. And that story is on that page too because I want to spread awareness. I've had 5 kids. I've gone through a lot of stuff. I have never seen a seizure like this. I had no idea. She will be 7 in March, and it's common in babies to 6-year-olds. Obviously, the doctor says, well, you know, it's not like the cutoff is at 6, but I didn't know. I didn't know it was low grade. I didn't know that you could have a seizure like that and no movement, no nothing. I literally slept with her all night. Like a first-time mom with a newborn. You put your hand on their chest. I knew this video would be hard, especially because it happened 2 nights ago. And I just want to make awareness for everyone. And I also want you to know that our life is just like a vapor. It could have been a different story today. I could be sharing a different story with you. Love your children. Hug them. Don't get mad at the stupid stuff. I was so grateful that I could bring my baby home. And I could hug her and cuddle her. Take those for granted. Don't take the hugs and the kisses and the I love yous and I want to play with you. Don't take them for granted. Because you might not get it tomorrow. And I just pray that people out there will hear this story and be aware that it can happen at 99 degrees. It could be a low-grade fever, and they could have a seizure. They could have a seizure, and you not even know, because they don't make a sound, and they don't make movement. Sorry. Love your babies, because life is so